Felah Alothman is the Assistant General Manager responsible for the plant and operations at Balsu, the world's second largest hazelnut processor based in Istanbul, Turkey. Yes, he came here from Turkey. He had to rush to get his visa to make sure that he could be here today, so we're really, really happy to have him all the way from Turkey. He received his MBA from Sabaga, I believe I pronounced that right. I got a little training yesterday. University in Istanbul, Turkey, after graduating from the Middle East Technical University in Ankara, Turkey, with an undergraduate degree in electrical and electronics engineering. His focus at Balsu includes making improvements in various food safety compliance, environmental safety and compliance, occupational health and safety, and corporate social responsibility. Alothman and the Balsu plant team are credited with quadrupling production capacity and developing new technologies such as the industry's first pasteurization process for hazelnut paste. Please join me in welcoming Felah Alothman.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PMCA Annual Production Conference. I would like to thank Sean Heuser, Judith Cooley, and the organizing committee of PMCA for inviting me here. I'm delighted to be giving you the presentation on hazelnut. As Sean informed you, I'm an electrical and electronics engineer, not a food or chemical engineer, but I was a nut fanatic, including almonds, walnuts, and hazelnuts. And I'm in hazelnut business for almost 8 years, and I had the opportunity to combine my pleasure of eating nuts and also my teachings and learnings of technical background. So I hope you enjoy your journey of the hazelnut world. The hazelnut, or as you are calling as filbert, is one of the most important tree nuts in the world, like almonds, walnuts, cashews, chestnuts, and pecans. Hazelnut fruit has been eaten in the ancient era, and because of its nutritive value, it has been appreciated. And with the growth and expansion of the trade, especially in the Mediterranean region, it became really an important asset. Because of the worldwide increase of their usage, it became, especially in the last few decades, a highly demanded product. The commercial production of hazelnuts, unfortunately, are in the restricted areas with very special climates because they require large bodies of water. When we look at the hazelnut production, it is mainly dominated by Turkey. We have a yearly production, global production of 700,000 tons to 1,000,000 tons per year, changing from one year to the other because the trees are getting tired to produce lots of hazelnuts one year and try to take a rest for the next year. Therefore, there is an on-year and off-year for the hazelnuts. When we look at to the geographical distribution, we see that almost 70% of the hazelnuts, 70 to 74% of the hazelnuts are produced by Turkey. So the Turkish hazelnut production drives the global hazelnut total production. The second largest is Italy, which has 120,000 tons per year. It's around 13% of the total hazelnut production. And then USA, with 4% of production share, it's one of the biggest ones. As you can see on the map, it's especially concentrated on the northern hemisphere of the world, but new efforts exist for the production on the southern hemisphere as well, especially in the countries Australia, South Africa, Chile. There is a good production area. For the time being, the volumes are not too much significant, but really it is promising for the future. So the hazelnut users will be able to have 2 crops per year, because in northern hemisphere the harvesting period is around August and September. On the other hand, in the southern hemisphere it will be in March and April, so it will be another advantage to have always fresh hazelnuts in the next decades. When we look at the properties of hazelnuts in the world, in United States, which is producing around 4% of the global hazelnut, it's 99% of the United States hazelnut crop is grown in the Willamette Valley of Oregon. The structure of the trees are different because it's grown as a large bush with on a single trunk. It's good for mechanical harvesting. The tree's height are around 46 meters. Italy, it's prone to single trunk, and there can be sometimes several stems in certain regions. I think it's hard to read. I apologize for that, but the Piemonte, Sicilia, and Lazio region are one of the growing areas in Italy. It's again on single track, so the mechanical harvesting is really very popular in the Italian harvesting. Turkey has a different structure in terms of tree. It's multi-stemmed, it's not one trunk. It has some advantages that I will explain. It generally grows up to 3 to 4 meters, so not too high. The roots are really very short, and they don't go into deep soil. Therefore, it requires good weather conditions and fresh rain so that they can grow up. In Turkey, this is at the north of Turkey, the production area of hazelnuts, and it is divided into 2, Eastern Black Sea region and Western Black Sea region. They have different characteristics that I will explain shortly. When we look at the cultivars, there are around 16 different types of hazelnuts in Turkey. I will not go all into the detail, but I will just mention about some of them. For instance, tombul, excuse me for the Turkish names, there is no English version. It has a very high oil content, very high protein content, and the blanching ratio is really very good, unlike most of the other global hazelnuts. Kara fındık is again, it has a high fat content, the protein content is moderate, it has a good blanching ratio as well, and it is resistant to pest, diseases, and spring frost, which can really affect the hazelnut production of Turkey, and which is really very critical at those period of times. When we look at, I will go very quickly onto these cultivars. Palas, Minjane, they are really also good in protein content as well. Why we have so many varieties, I will explain right in the next slides. Well, the hazelnut cultivars, they are actually monoecious, but the clean fruit species. In other words, the male flower and female flower exist on the same tree, but they are separately, and it is not desired that they pollute themselves. It's a natural issue that helps us. Fortunately, we don't need bees for pollination as well. We need only the wind for pollination. The production is done in a very short, in a very long period of time. Therefore, what we have, for the pollination to occur, there should be different cultivars to pollinate one type of single hazelnuts. For instance, on the left-hand side, you can see the main cultivar, and on the right-hand side, you can see the pollinizer cultivars. And each cultivar is pollinated by 4 or 5 different types of cultivars. And on the right-hand side, you can see a graph. This is the anthesis periods of different cultivars. That means when the flowers are on the cultivars. The purple one are females and the green one are males. As you can see, for most of the species, most of the cultivars, the male and female is opened at different times to prevent self-pollination. Some of them are closer, but they are mostly indifferent. Therefore, we need too many cultivars to make an excellent pollination. This is good for the diversity of our hazelnut production. We can have various hazelnuts. When there is a problem in one type of hazelnut, then the other can help us. So it's a sustainable system for Turkish hazelnuts. When we look at the regions, we see that we have different cultivars in one region. Sometimes our new hazelnut production customers are asking us, we need this amount of tombul. We say it doesn't exist because the types are not separated. It's a mixture of within a region. For instance, in Giresun type, which is one of the most popular hazelnuts and most expensive hazelnuts in the world, has 75% of tombul, 11% of pointed hazelnuts, slightly pointed hazelnuts, and other small varieties. It's really very, very good for blanching, and it fits really very good with the chocolate confectionery products, and also in the snack industry, it's widely used. The skins can be removed very easily and quickly. The round shape helps the users to fit in their products very easily. It's a small percentage of Turkish hazelnuts. Depending on the season, it's around 10 to 22% of Turkish hazelnuts are Giresun type of hazelnuts. The Akçakoca region hazelnuts on the Western Black Sea region, they have lower fat content and it is suitable for bonding with chocolate especially. Because of very sunny weather conditions in this especially Western Black Sea region, the drying is really very, very easily. The number of sunny days during harvesting is a lot. The hazelnut requires a lot of water during growing and no rain during harvesting. So the climate helps us in doing that. In Akçakoca region especially, there is no rain during harvesting. That increases the performance, chemical performance. The aflatoxin presence is almost none. And also the rotten and mold levels are really very low. We call Levant or Eastern Black Sea region hazelnuts for the hazelnuts of the mixture of Ordu, Samsun and Trabzon regions hazelnuts. Their properties are like this. They have lower fat content compared to Giresun. Therefore, the skin removal is quite good. But the aroma for all of them are really very strong, so that you can feel the hazelnuts taste and smell in the best way. The Eastern Black Sea region's hazelnuts are around 42 to 48% of the Turkish hazelnut productions. What? Doesn't work. Can you help? We need help. Okay. Okay, okay. Ben, can we go to the next two slides, next second slide? The next one? Okay, thank you. Well, hazelnut harvesting is an interesting issue for Turkey. You know, the main harvesting is done by hand. It increases the back, please. Oh, okay. The previous slide, please. The previous one? Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your patience. The hand harvesting is very popular in Turkey. It increases the labor cost, but especially in the Western Black Sea region, Eastern Black Sea region, the land is really very sharp. Because of the steep slopes of the land, it is really very difficult to make mechanical harvesting. Therefore, it is popular to make this hand harvesting from the trees. The disadvantage, we have higher cost, but the advantage is the quality is really very good because it doesn't drop, it's not mechanically done, so it's much more easier. Hand harvest from orchard floor is something that we don't like because if the hazelnut stays on the floor, there is a possibility of rotten and moldy hazelnuts. Therefore, this is maybe 0.1% of the total Turkish hazelnuts are harvested, are collected from the soil, but 98% of the hazelnuts are hand collected. There are new efforts for mechanical harvesting from the orchard floor, but this is especially in the Western Black Sea region where the